Morning, dear children. So let us start our new chapter, Algebraic Expressions and Identities. Chapter 9. In your text it is chapter 9, Algebraic Expressions and Identities. Is it clear? Is the video clear? Is the video clear to you? Please respond. Is the video clear to you? Okay, let us start now. You had already learned these algebraic expressions in your 7th standard and you are familiar with some terms, expressions, constants, variables, etc. Okay, so let us recall what they are. First, let us start with the term constants and variables. Constants and variables. So let us start with this constants and variables. See, constants and variables are two different types of symbols in algebra. Okay, these two are two different types of symbols. So let us write first that one. Constants and variables are constants and variables are two different types of symbols in algebra. Constants and variables are two different types of symbols used in algebra. Now, a symbol which has A constant which has a fixed numerical value, which has a fixed numerical value. So we are representing the symbols x, y, z, etc. for variables. We use the symbols x, y, z, etc. for variables. See now, so constants and variables are two different types of symbols used in algebra, and a symbol which has a fixed numerical value is called a constant. We can write an example for it. Number of days in a week denoted by n, and the value of n is 7. So it is a constant. Then examples for constants here: 7, 35, minus 2, root 3, minus 2.5. All these numbers are constants. And now a quantity or a symbol which has no fixed value but it can represent any numerical value is called a variable. For example, number of days in a month. See, it is a variable because in January 31 days, in February sometimes 28, sometimes 29, in March again 31 days, in April 30 days. So it varies from month to month. So it is a variable. Is it clear? Is this clear to you? What are constants and what are variables? Okay. Now let us move to the next term. Terms. Terms. Terms are the product of constants, variables, or both. Terms are the product of constants, variables, or both these constants and variables. For example, 28, we can consider this as a term, okay, because we can write this as 1 into 28, or you can write this as 2 into 14, or you can write this as then 7 into 4, etc. Right? So this can be considered as a term, product of constants. Now another one is x, y. Here this is a product of the variable x and y. X is a variable, y is another variable. If we find the product of these two, this can be considered as a term. Okay, now another one, minus y z. Minus y z. Here minus y and z are two different variables, and this minus yz is the product of them, so this can be considered as a term. Now another one is 7x. So here in this case, this is a product of constants, this is product of variables, this also product of variables, and here this can be, this 7x is a product of a constant and a variable. So this also is a term. Okay, now, so the terms are the product of constants, variables, or both of this. You can write the examples. All these are examples of terms. Terms are product of constants, variables, or both. So examples are 28, xy, minus yz, 7x. You can write any example like this. Minus 3y, 7.5x. All these are examples for terms. Okay, now the next is expressions. Expressions. So before moving to this one, I left one term here, that is factors. Factors of a term. Factors. See now, when you consider this 28, you know that the factors of 28 are 1 and 28. 1 and 28, because 28 can be written as 1 into 28. So 1 and 28 are factors. Or you can write this 28 as 2 into 14. So 2 and 14 are factors of 28. Or you can write this as 4 into 7. So 4 and 7 are factors of 28. Similarly, this xy is written as x into y. Okay, so x and y are factors of xy. Then minus yz. So in this case, we can write this minus yz as minus 1 into y into z. So the factors of this minus yz are minus 1, y and z. Okay, the factors are minus 1, y and z. So what are the factors of this 7x? What are the factors of this 7x? Seven x is the product of 7 and x. So the factors of 7x are 7 and x. 7 into x. So the factors of 7x are 7 and x. Which are the factors of minus 3y? Which are the factors of this minus 3y? Okay, Uma Shankari, good. It is minus 1, 3 and y. Or you can write minus 3 and y also. minus 3 and y are also factors of this. So I hope this is clear to you. Now let us move to the term expressions. Terms are added to form expressions. Terms are added to form expressions. When we add different terms, then we will get expressions. Okay, now let us add these two here. 28 plus xy. This is an example for an expression. Minus yz plus 7x. Another expression. Then minus 3y. This is another expression. Can you give an example for an expression? Another one is 2x square plus 3x plus 2. This is also an expression. Here we are adding 3 terms. First term is 2x square, then 3x, then 2. Okay, all these are examples for expressions. Give an example for an expression. You can give any example. Minus 2 plus y minus 6. Okay. Then another one. Four x plus zy. Okay, then Akshay, give another example. Three x plus 7 is another expression. You can write any number of terms. See, here in this one, 2 terms are there. We are adding these 2 terms. Here 2 terms are there. We are adding these 2 terms here. Here in this only 1 term is there. And in this last one, 3 terms are there. So you can add any number of terms. So I will write another example here. X square plus y square plus 2xy plus 5. This is also an expression. Okay, x square plus y square plus 2xy plus 5. This is also an expression. Example for another expression. 23 plus xy. Okay. 3x plus y. Now the next is, I hope this is clear to you. So the first one is constant, then variable, okay, terms and expressions, also factors. The next one is numerical coefficients. Next heading, numerical coefficients. Numerical coefficients. Numerical factor of a term. Numerical factor of a term is called its numerical coefficient. Is called its numerical coefficient. Numerical factor of a term is called its numerical coefficient. See, Akshay had given an example 4x plus y for an expression. So this is an expression. How many terms are here in this expression? How many terms are here? Okay, two terms. Which are they? Which are the two terms? Which are the two terms? Four x and y. Okay, 4x and y. So, which are the factors of this 4x? Which are the factors? Four x and y are the terms. Which are the factors of this 4x? Okay, it is 4 and x. 4 and x are the factors of 4x. Which are the factors of this y? y, we can write it as 1 and y. Okay, so see now, this is an expression. It contains two terms. The two terms are 4x and y. 4x, the first term has two factors. The factors are 4 and x. The second term is y. It has the factors 1 and y. Is it clear? Okay, so here the numerical factor, this is the numerical factor here. So this numerical factor is called the numerical coefficient. Numerical coefficient of the first term. Numerical coefficient. In this term, this 1 is called the numerical coefficient. Okay, the numerical factor of each term is the numerical coefficient of the term. So I will write here another one example. 3x minus 4y plus 8. 3x minus 4y plus 8. What is the numerical coefficient of the first term? What is the numerical coefficient of the first term? Okay, it is the first term is 3x. Its factors are 3 and x, and the numerical factor is 3. So the numerical coefficient is 3. Okay, now what is the numerical coefficient of the second term? Second term. The second term is minus 4y. You have to consider this sign also. It is minus 4y is the second term, and the numerical coefficient is, this has the factors minus 4 and y. So the numerical coefficient is minus 4. Okay. Now this 8, the last term 8 is called the constant term. 8 is called the constant term. It is a constant. It has no variable in it. So it is called the constant term. Okay, let us do some problems now. Exercise 9.1. First one, identify the terms. Their coefficient, their coefficients for each of the following expressions. For each of the following expressions. Identify the terms and their coefficients for each of the following expressions. First one, 5xyz square. 5xyz square minus 3zy. 5xyz square minus 3zy. So which are the terms here? Terms are 5xyz square is the first term and the second term is minus 3zy. So which are the coefficients? Coefficient of the first term? It is 5. Okay. Which are the coefficient? Which is the coefficient of the second term? For the first term, the coefficient is 5 and for the second term, the numerical coefficient is minus 3. Okay. Now the second question. One plus x square. 1 plus x square. Which are the terms? How many terms are here in this expression? Okay, 3 terms and the terms are 1, x and x square. So the coefficients here you can write this as 1 itself, coefficient of this 1. It is 1 itself. Here the coefficient of x is 1. The coefficient of x square is also equal to 1. Okay. So the 3 terms are there and the coefficients of x is coefficient of this variable x, it is 1. Coefficient of x square is also equal to 1. See, this is not to be taken as 1 square. 1 square is equal to 1. It is okay, but not to take 1 square here. 1 into x square. This term is, see, x square. The factors are 1, x and x. So which is the numerical coefficient in this? 1 is the numerical coefficient. So the numerical coefficient is 1. Okay, now the third question. Third one. 4x square y square minus 4x square y square z square plus z square. Okay, here how many terms? 3 terms in this expression. First term, then this is the second one, and this is the third one. So you have to write the terms as 4x square y square, then 4 minus 4x square y square z square, and then the third term is z square. So what is the coefficient of the first term? Coefficient of the first term? Okay, 3 terms are here. The first term is 4x square y square. Second term is minus 4x square y square z square. And the third term is z square. So 3 terms are there. What is the coefficient of the first term? Coefficient of first term is 4. What is the coefficient of the second term? Okay, it is minus 4. And what is the coefficient of the third term? Coefficient of the third term is 1. Okay, now one more question. X by 2 plus y by 2 minus xy. X by 2 plus y by 2 minus xy. Which are the terms here? First term is x by 2, second term is y by 2, and the third term is minus xy. What is the coefficient of the first term? Okay, coefficient of the first term is 1 by 2 because it is 1 into x, it is x, so 1 by 2, it is the numerical part of this and it is the numerical coefficient. Okay, it is 1 by 2. What is the coefficient of y by 2, second term? That is also equal to 1 by 2. What is the coefficient of the third term? What is the coefficient of the third term? This is minus xy, not 2 here, it is minus xy. What is the coefficient of this? Coefficient, not the term. Coefficient. Which is the numerical factor here? It is minus 1. So this can be written as minus xy can be written as minus 1 into x into y. So the numerical part is minus 1. So the numerical coefficient is minus 1. Is it clear? Okay. See, you don't write this as minus xy is equal to minus 1. Minus x, coefficient of minus xy is equal to minus 1. Okay. One more question. One more question here. 0.3a minus 0.6ab plus 0.5b. Zero 0.3a minus 0.6ab plus 0.5b. So the terms are 0.3a minus 0.6ab and the third term is 0.5b. So which are the coefficients here? Which are the coefficients? Okay, the first one, the numerical part is 0.3. So the numerical coefficient here is 0.3. Here it is. For the second term, it is not 3, it is 0.3. It is not equal to 3. See, it is 0.3. Okay, now this for this one, what is the numerical part here? It is minus 0.6. And what about this? Coefficient of the third term, it is 0.5. I hope this concept is clear to you. The terms, then factors of terms, expressions, then numerical coefficients. Okay. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Now we will move to the next topic, that is monomials, binomials and trinomials. Binomials and trinomials. This you had learnt in your second chapter, linear equations. I had already explained these terms in that chapter? Do you remember it? Can you say what are monomials? Okay, you can write down the definition now. Expressions that contains only one term is called a monomial. Then expressions having that contains two terms is called a binomial. And expressions that contain three terms expression that contains three terms is called a trinomial. This you had learned in second chapter, that is linear equations. One more definition, polynomials. An expression containing one or more terms with non-zero coefficients and with non-negative exponents. Is called a polynomial. This is not the definition given in the second chapter. There we are generally defining expression containing more than three terms. Generally we call them as polynomials. But here we have to modify the definition. An expression containing one or more terms, monomials, binomials, trinomials, all are part of polynomials. So one or more terms with non-zero coefficients. Now you know that what are coefficients. So the coefficients must not be equal to 0. Non-zero means they are not 0. Okay, non-zero coefficients and with non-negative exponents. Exponent means power of the variable. For example, it should not be like this, x raised to minus 2. The power is negative 2. This is not a polynomial. Okay. So with this, let us conclude today's class. We will meet with some more terms in the next class. Okay, thank you.